Hi, today I'm here in Pasadena in California and I'm going to photo shoot a ballet dancer. And so this will be very interesting because I've never photographed a ballet dancer. And what I like the most about it is ballet dancers are very strict, so hopefully she's very disciplined, and also their poses are beautiful. And yeah, now I will show you a few scenes and I will give you some tips and insights about photographing a ballet dancer.
Hi, my name is Alina. I'm a ballet dancer from Russia. Now I live here in LA, and I'm so happy today to have this amazing shoot. It's in downtown of Pasadena. It's a nice photographer.
Thank you. Generally, a dance photo shoot takes much longer than a normal photo shoot because you have to capture movement and specific poses at the right time. So you just have to keep that in mind when you're planning your photo shoot. The location depends on what type of photos you want to take. If you simply want the dancer to pose still in dance poses, then you don't need much space. However, if you want them to actually move, then you should choose a location where your subject has space to move and a good surface. It can be quite difficult where there are many people around. What type of lens should you use? If you're on location, then you want a lens with a good range. A wide-angle zoom lens is good. During this shoot I used a 17 to 55mm lens, and I also used a 35mm lens, which was great as it was very light and I could easily move with Alina. I recently bought a good quality 70 to 200mm telephoto lens. So far I only used it in motorsports photography. However, I imagine it would be great for this type of shoot as it has a fast focus speed and the sharpness of this lens is great. So if you're using a telephoto lens, then you just need a bit more space around you as you have to be a bit further away from your subject. Number 4 is to shoot in continuous burst mode. You should set up your camera in this continuous burst mode, which means that several photographs are captured in quick succession by pressing the shutter button or by holding it down. You should play around with different shutter speeds. I used a slow shutter speed of a 30th of a second and 50th of a second to freeze the action. And I also used a very fast shutter speed ranging between 400ths of a second and 1,000ths of a second to get everything nice and sharp. If you're in a studio setup, then it is obviously very easy to set up the lighting. However, if you're on location and the dancer is moving, then I found that it was much easier to use simple natural light and to adjust the ISO according to the light. The only times when I used flash during the shoot or a reflector was when she was a bit more static. You should check your images regularly. During a normal shoot I don't check the images so often, but in this case I found it much more useful to check the images regularly, especially when you're trying different shutter speeds. Dance poses are very specific, and if you're like me and you don't exactly know what type of poses are correct, then you should check with the dancer occasionally and show them some of the images. Not all of them, because it really disrupts a photo shoot if you show them all the time some photos. But occasionally I suggest that you show the dancer the photos. Especially ballet dancing has some very specific rules of posing, and so you have to be careful with that. Shadows work great in dance photography. You just have to find a nicely lit wall and let the dancer work their magic. The final tip for you is to use a piece of fabric for capturing movement. In this instance, I gave Alina a piece of tulle fabric and she used it with her dance. Tulle or some other see-through fabric is great. Light materials are good to use, and I imagine silk or a light piece of cotton will do the trick as well. Now to recap some points, make sure you plan enough time for the shoot, choose a location that fits your vision and have a surface that allows the dancer to move easily and without hurting themselves. Play around with different shutter speeds and use a fabric and a slow shutter speed to capture movement and blur.